Welcome to the Flamingo Community Lagoon, where we kick back and chat about Flamingo Finance, the project roadmap, DeFi, crypto markets, and anything else, as well as answer any questions from the Flamingo community. For those who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy-to-use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone, from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools and earn rewards in our native token FLM. We've been around for over 3 years and currently have a TVL, or total locked value, of over 85 million USD. We've also introduced our very own stablecoin called FUSD, where users can add collateral and borrow the stablecoin against the collateral. For those listening in on YouTube or Spotify, we hold these lagoons live on Discord, which we'll link below so you can join us in the next one. And please don't forget to like and subscribe from any platform you're tuning in from. Your support is greatly appreciated and is important to get more flamingos at the lagoons each month. If you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage with us. Ask us any questions you may have, or drop your questions or comments right in the chat, and we'll keep tabs on that as well. So with that, let's get started. I know the devs are super busy these days with Flocks and the new 2.0 version of Order Book Plus. So I thought maybe we could get started with what they've been up to, because I know they only have a few minutes today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're approaching something. We're heavily into trying to optimize the gas costs for the order book at the moment, as well as managing everything that needs to be done for Flux with the user interface integration and everything that needs to be 100% there as well. So yeah, it's as I say, we're approaching something. I think the most important problem we're trying to solve now is reducing the gas costs of market orders in the order book, so that we can have good volume on Flamingo. We just had a discussion in the price chat as well on Flamingo Discord, talking about how, if we don't optimize, or if you have too high of a gas cost, it will probably drop volume a little bit on Flamingo because of will be harder to arbitrage basically.
Yeah, but we know everyone. Yeah, we need to do it this way. We need to first build something, optimize this. It's a lot of value in optimizing the order book, because hopefully there will be a lot of trading there in the future. There comes a limit where we can't optimize it anymore, because we're on a decentralized network and you need to pay for storage, you need to pay for execution. So when it's the most optimized, then the next thing is to if it's still expensive, you need to talk with the Neo Council and see if we maybe can get a lower gas cost on the network in general. I think at least with the product like the order book, Neo would benefit a lot from making transactions cheaper, because if Flamingo can start to get a high volume, it will attract more users that will also benefit Neo more. So yeah, it's a bit like the chicken and the egg situation right now, because it will get a bit more expensive to do market orders when it comes to gas. But if you buy a limit order there, then maybe your price impact for that order will be 0%. So maybe you should have taken a 1% hit on your 1,000. Let's say you trade $1,000. That's like a big sum to trade on Flamingo in the AMM. So let's say with $1,000 you will have a 1% price impact. So that's a loss of $10. That's basically 1.4 gas. So you have to pay, let's say, 0.10 gas more than a regular AMM, or 0.20 gas more, but then you don't get that price impact. So you saved 1.6 gas in price impact, but you had to pay 0.2 gas more to get that, to save that 1.6 gas. So it's important to not just look at what's getting more expensive, but also look at, you need to look at the end result. Do you end up with more or less tokens? Is it a better or worse deal?
And it's also a chicken and the egg problem in the sense that we can't attract users that would love to add limit orders and have that experience of trading right now, because, well, we don't have it. We have the order book plus right now, but it doesn't guarantee that you will have your whole order executed, and it's more guaranteed if you have a huge order than a small order. And basically the AMM and the order book is decoupled. So there's we don't have that user experience like we have on a centralized exchange yet, but that's what we're trying to solve. So what type of traders can we attract if we solve the problem? And if we solve it here on Neo entry with the Neo VM, it's possible that we learn everything we need to deploy something like the order book on the EVM chain like NeoX, and that would be really nice, because then we could attract even more users because they are familiar with the EVM ecosystem, like connected with MetaMask.
If we have it there, you can also deploy it on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain and all other chains, of course. But
of course, yes. But then the cheapest one to use will be NeoX.
Yeah, but the cheapest one to use will be Neo. But that's up to the council, basically. I think it's important that the gas price is adjusted based on the gas cost in dollars. Else we're just like Ethereum, where things get more expensive as price goes up. And then it's no reason to have this settings where the council can vote to reduce or increase gas cost. And it should be increased when prices go down on gas. So maybe like target for a dollar cost average of gas for different kind of transactions, rather than just letting it be static. Because I agree that 0.4 gas for market order, it's kind of expensive, but as I say, like, remember that it can also save you maybe even more to do it because of the order book. And also without the order book, it's impossible to get the volumes that we dream of on Flamingo. All the users dreaming of having like $100 million in volumes, it's impossible to do with just the AMM. And then you need billions in liquidity. So I think like with the order book, it will solve that. So now you can basically, it will be cheaper for you to sell 1,000 BNEOs on Flamingo than to take them to Binance. It will be easier for you to do it, and it will be like less of a hassle to do it. You can sell 1,000 now, but you have to spend like 2 hours and maybe 20 transactions. So
and we can concentrate some liquidity around the price at least. And the second thing is that we can give people that user experience of decentralized trading with limit orders. A lot of exchanges, decentralized exchanges, have limit orders, but they're not decentralized in that sense. There's some magic and trickery going on there. We're actually using a centralized service to execute.
And you also have to look at different chains. Neo is an OG chain that's been around for a long time. It's a big chain. It's a big community. So it's not like you can always just put up 3 servers in my house, Atlasor's house, and Bordeaux's house, and say it's a blockchain that runs an order book. But is it like you have to look at all the different attack vectors? Is it decentralized? Is Neo decentralized with 21 nodes? Less than Ethereum, less than Bitcoin, but in my opinion, enough. And also the nodes are decentralized based on, it's not just like one entity running all the nodes. So, and it's just like, they can't decide the outcome or upgrades or anything. So if we just run 3 nodes and it's the devs that run the 3 nodes, then the devs are the masters of the network. But on Neo, that's not the case. So you need developers, and then you need the nodes to agree that the code is safe to update to.
something that a lot of users have opted into over several years. As you say, it's an OG chain, so people have been happy with that kind of consensus mechanism for several years. And when we build smart contracts on top of that network, we get that consensus mechanism for free. We opt into that as well. If you build a second layer or some magic trickery besides the chain, then you as a user, you're not confident that it is decentralized in the same way as the network you have chosen to operate on. So I think that's nice that we don't undermine the users, and we give them the same network that they have, or same features that the network have that they have opted into.
So one question, of course, when? I would say that give us a couple of more days now when we can start to give you a date. Right now we're in the middle of like optimization. It can take 10 days, it can take 1 day. It depends like when we find that sweet spot, because it's a lot of trial and error. So we just have to test. You have to build a new contract, you have to test and try to find the cheapest way of solving different things. So yeah, we're starting to get closer, a lot closer. Flux user interface is basically done. It needs a bit more polish, but it's completed. The order book user interface is basically also done because it's the old one, but it needs a bit polish and also integrate the new contract. So it's a lot of like final step stuff happening, and at the same time we're also fixing some wallet stuff and bridging stuff that we need to fix. So and a data layer. So I feel like this is the common thing that's always been through the years, that you plan to release one thing and then one thing and then one thing, but it ends up being 10 things at one time. Yeah, so we're at the final steps there now, and we are more eager than everyone here combined to get it done and get it out. But we need to make sure that it's optimized when it comes to gas, because it's easy to just make it and then it's 10 gas for a market order, but then no one will use it, and we need to make sure that it's safe. It's those kind of things, but don't think that we are just sitting here and just like, yeah, let's give it a year and drink some coffee. Like, this is a feature that everyone needs, including ourselves. So yeah, I'm really eager to start using an order book on Flamingo instead of having to like trade on Binance or OKX or other exchanges.
Yeah, I think it's nice that we take the time that we need as well, because you see, today we get some good feedback as well regarding arbitrage as well, and trying to find that sweet spot for those actors on the platform, so that we can make sure that we don't rock with the status quo that much, in the sense that we lose important actors on the platform. And then we have some new guidance on, okay, what is a comfortable target to try to reach in terms of optimization, and then we can say like, okay, that's enough, now we deploy. So it's a feedback loop as well. Yeah.
So any more questions?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I got a notification saying my mic was disconnected or something. I have a question. So you guys had mentioned maybe approaching the Neo Council and asking for cheaper gas costs for the Order Book Plus. Do you think there is a way that the Neo Council can grant that request specifically to Flamingo without dropping gas costs for everyone else? Or do you think they would have to drop?
No, you have to. You have to. So the easiest way to do it without exposing the network for a bigger attack vector is to lower, I would say, the cost of storage. But yeah, it's like that. That's also something that you need to look at, because if you lower gas cost too much, it's cheaper to attack the network. Right. So it's cheaper to basically hold the like every block you fill it up, and now no one can use the network. So there's multiple of things to look at, because the more expensive the network is to use, the more secure it actually is.
But you have less players.
Yeah.
So like with Ethereum, you could say, okay, it's the whale chain, or at least you could say that for a while. And there's a reason for it, because the whales would happily pay that gas to do their transactions because they were so big.
Yeah.
But with the low network cost or low gas cost, you basically can have more player, but then if it's too low, you wouldn't like that scenario as well. But in terms, like, gas has been performing well in terms of dollar price, so we have been happy with storing data and executing instructions for less before. For a long while we've been accepting a dollar price per transaction or byte stored that is way lower than it is right now. So you just have to then be sure, if gas price drops, that you are also able to maybe adjust it up again, because then
it needs to be both ways.
Then it's when it's become dangerous, because if you lower now and then gas price drops, then the attack vector becomes real. If you put half the cost right now, it shouldn't be any worry.
That's why it should be voted for, at least in my opinion, it should be voted for like a dynamic price table. So if gas costs $1, the storage factor and the fees for different things costs this much. If gas costs $3, then you change it to this. If it costs $6, you change it to this. So that should be just like a dynamic thing to do. Of course, it can at times be more expensive than other times because you're at like $4.5, but at least then you have some rules that you're using, instead of just being like, okay, now we feel it's expensive, and the next month you don't complain because the price is so low and it's good, like for invocations. So it should be like a fixed set of rules that the consensus nodes just vote on and approve, and then it's like try to stick within that scheme.
Just vote up some guidelines, and those guidelines could change in the future. Depends on how many users you have and stuff like that. I think that's a good approach. The question then becomes how do you decide what's price is correct, and I don't think you should do it automatic. At least it could be kind of
but like you then
guidance.
Because the issue you have if you lower something is that you will get a lot of criticism if you raise it again.
Yes,
it's always like that. So it's really dangerous to like lower something and maybe need to and maybe need to like put it up again. But if it's like a fixed thing, like this is how it is and this is how it will be, then it's much more easy, like to understand why is it going up? Because price of gas is down. And that's like, you can read about it here. So then you know what's going on.
All right, should we get back to optimizing gas costs?
I guess so. So unless there's some other questions, no? Just like, we're always on Discord, so just feel free to reach out.
I guess. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Now that devs are gone, devs are asleep, party can really start. No, but I think we can probably use this. Nope, we're not going to end. Flip it. I think we can probably use this time to talk a little bit about the marketing and content. I'm not sure if Somnium Wave can speak yet. I know that earlier, for some reason, Discord was having some technical difficulties with that. We can look at some content. We can talk about the new Zeely campaign. Michael, is there any update you would like to give on what you've been up to on Flamingo lately?
Yeah, I've started this first month and it's going really well. I'm working on the data layer, the improvement on the data layer for the front end, and testing it out, and it's going great. So
awesome.
Not a lot to say, but things are going great. So I think that can sum up the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing what you've been up to a little bit in the team chats. It all looks really cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments from the audience? Feel free to join us on stage or drop them in the chat. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe we wanted to start talking about Zeely a little bit, since I know that we had moved over to TaskOn during February, and we moved back to Zeely in March. So I didn't know if you and Morten wanted to give an update on that.
Yeah, and users were participating on TaskOn, but everybody is used to participate in Zeely. Its interface is kind of much more user friendly for them and for us. So we have switched back to Zeely in March campaign, and as we can see, we had lots and lots and lots higher numbers in user participation, and users are more than happy about this choice. So also, Zeely has a 5,000 claim cap in free accounts. So for users, we have increased this claim task cap to 10K. So we don't have to squeeze more than one task to a single task to reduce the numbers. So everybody will continue to claim the old missions that people used to. There will be no complicated tasks, and we will continue like this. And users are more than happy about it, about these feedbacks. So everything is going fine. And see you on the next April Zeely campaign on April 1st.
Yeah, the March campaign ended today. So hope everyone got their tasks in. And yeah, as Zatrov was saying, one of the reasons we moved from Zeely over to TaskOn is because we were a little bit perturbed when Zeely started out of nowhere trying to charge us money. And then it got a little bit confusing because they were claiming to charge us money, but they weren't. And we didn't want our campaigns to just like randomly end in the middle of the month, any given month, which is when we decided to move over to TaskOn. But then, we decided that, maybe paying for a premium Zeely subscription is worth it. So that's what we ended up doing. We ended up moving back to Zeely. Now we have a paid premium subscription at Zeely so that users can participate in up to 10,000 tasks per month now. If we find that even that ceiling is being hit, then we may have to cap it there, or we may decide to increase the limit going forward. So we'll see. Right now, there's still some room, so it's all looking good. And as Zatrov said, users are super happy that we moved back to Zeely. They're super happy that we've got the premium subscription so that they're able to do a lot more tasks and all of that. So
also, we will have some. We also have some nice analytics. Zeely gives the statistics analytics page for the paid users. So we will have some nice data too for marketing.
Yeah, definitely. What else is going on in marketing these days? I can probably speak on a few other things. The problem with these AMAs and marketing is, a lot of what goes into marketing is marketing the upcoming products and working kind of in the background with PR, working with other projects, companies, people, all of that sort of thing. And a lot of that can't actually come out through the woodwork until these announcements go live kind of thing. So a lot of what I've been up to, I don't know if I can even say here, but we've been up to a lot. There's been a lot going on in the background, working with other projects and with influencers and with some really big names in crypto that if I dropped it right now, every single person here would recognize it. These are going to be big things coming up through the pipeline. I just don't think I can name drop like that just yet. But keep an ear out for some really big upcoming things. I think everyone's going to be super excited about what's to come, even though I can't quite even maybe hint at it other than saying you'll recognize it when you see it. I think it's going to really excite the community, as well as obviously we can't speculate on the price of anything, but I think the market will get excited as well. And I think what's to come is going to help kind of move us from this somewhat of a silo that Neo can be sometimes, to put it, I don't know, nicely. Sometimes Neo feels like the diehard OG Neo folks are diehard OG Neo folks, and there's a reason we're all here. And there's a reason we all love Neo. But sometimes it feels like it's a little bit more difficult to get the word out, because we're not like Ethereum yet. We're not like, the EVM sidechain yet, even though announcements have been coming out and they're still working on that kind of thing. It's still a little bit feeling like a silo. So what we have coming for Flamingo is, I think, in my opinion, going to really help break us out of that silo. And when I say silo, I mean just kind of like stuck in our own little niche or cave kind of thing, and so it's hard to get the word out to like the rest of the world, so to speak. I think the things that are coming for Flamingo are definitely going to help with that. So I'll put it like that. I'll probably have to end that conversation there for now, just because if I say any more, I might get in trouble. So I see a comment in the chat. Can't wait to see. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm super thrilled about it. Okay, well, I do see a comment from Blitzkrieg3. To be honest, I feel like Flamingo isn't able to really pop out of a big Neo. We have a DEX now, thanks to Flamingo. We have an NFT platform. What we truly need is a play-to-earn game on Neo blockchain that is of higher quality and therefore bait a huge amount of people. Yeah, thanks for the comment. I can't comment on like the quality of other projects on Neo. I think all the projects on Neo are really cool. I play them. There are some games on Neo already that I think are really awesome. Pixudi, Doge, Rift, some other games. I like the quality of those games. I play them myself. I can't speak for other people, but if that's your opinion about those games, that's fine. But I agree, like the more projects and dApps and games that come to Neo, the better, always. And yeah, that's a nice comment though.
Yeah, and NeoX will bring lots of opportunities to bring Solidity developers from the Ethereum ecosystem. So we will have more decentralized applications, and more developers and more communities will come to the Neo ecosystem with the EVM sidechain.
Yeah, very good point. Because what we see on EVM too is a lot of copy pasting projects, right? And so that can make the numbers go burr. Whether you like it or not, like copy pasting projects will now be able to join the Neo sidechain, like NeoX. So that should bring a lot of projects just with that. The easeability coming and building on Neo now, right? Looks like Dylan G dropped a few comments. He says, doesn't need to be a super sharp AAA that can be a sticky game. I'd like to see some integration with Farcaster in any way. EVM land is kind of fun. NeoX is going to open a lot of doors. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait. I know that the devs have been working hard. The Neo devs have been working hard on getting that out. So, OmniWave, do you want to give a update on all of the awesome video content that you've been putting out lately?
Yeah,
Flocks
for sure.
And class and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. So I just released a video kind of updating the latest UI from the devs. I think it's looking pretty awesome. Just to look at kind of quick overview on it. And these guys, they move so fast that by the time I had done the video, there was already another update to the UI. So I will probably make another video showing the even newer UI, which I mean, it just looks fantastic, I think. So yeah, you should definitely check out that video. I will drop the link in the comments right here, or you can also check out my Twitter, which also has it there. I also have like an advertisement going on that particular post, and I think we're almost up to like 250K views or impressions or whatever. So that's pretty cool to see, and it looks like there's been a lot of like engagement surrounding that post, which is pretty cool. And besides that video, I've got a couple more already in the works. Kind of just going over some of the other updates surrounding like Order Book Plus and stuff, and also kind of moving like towards some other type of content where I'm doing like overview of the entire platform, but kind of like in my own perspective. Obviously, like you guys have seen the tutorials I made for Flamingo that are posted on the official YouTube, but I figured I'd kind of make some more content, kind of like from my own personal point, like how easy it is to do swaps on Flamingo, how easy it is to like stake in a liquidity pool or wrap or unwrap tokens, like kind of just showing it from like the user perspective per se, and just kind of try to, you know, kind of just show people like how easy it is to kind of get in and out of Flamingo, and obviously at a much lower gas cost than other networks.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the main things, you know, Neo and Flamingo have going for it, are the low gas costs. And I guess that's why the devs right now are so keen and focused on getting those gas costs as low as humanly possible for the new order book. So that'll be awesome. And yeah, we should definitely try to keep that post engagement going through the roof. So I'm happy to, you know, we should probably spend some of our marketing funds on advertising your videos now that we can do that on Twitter. Because before we were getting blocked doing it from the Flamingo account, but since now it's through your account, we should definitely move forward with that. So we can take that conversation offline and maybe get into that this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Okay, some more comments and questions in the chat. Looks like, you know, we're talking about Quirky Soul College being really cool and unique. I totally agree. I love Quirky Soul College. Just talking about games, asking more devs to move to Neo because ETH fees are killing different games, but the quality is needed. What else we got here? Something simple on Neo. Andor says, one thing I would like to see are tutorial videos for total noobs in crypto to ease up on adoption. I have brought some friends and family to FLM, but I always need to do mini lectures on things like how does the platform work? What is even a liquidity pool? How is this not a scam with that kind of APR? I use some videos over YouTube, but they're about 2 years old and they use Ethereum as a base, and that can be confusing for them sometimes. Yeah, totally. What do you say to that, Somnium Wave?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sounds like you're up to anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, you know, I think like Flamingo and kind of in general, we've sort of been positioned as like, you know, obviously the go-to decks like on Neo and stuff. And like our target demographic, I feel, has always been like crypto users that are already kind of in this ecosystem and kind of like already experienced. We've kind of like, I guess initially we steered away from like drawing super newbie crypto users to Flamingo. But I mean, yeah, based on that comment, for sure, I feel like it wouldn't hurt to educate total new users. And, you know, like most people get started in their crypto journey like on Coinbase or, you know, like Binance or whatever. But I don't see any reason why we can't start them off on Flamingo, and then that'll be their go-to spot as well.
Yeah, like even just like Andor said, the simplest we can get in a video, you know, what is a liquidity pool? What does it mean to stake in a liquidity pool? What is a reverse liquidity pool? Things like that. You see a whole video series about.
Oh
that.
yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of content that could be made regarding like everything. Just I mean, even stuff like hardware wallets, how to transact with the ledger, what are signing transactions like. There could be a whole series on like security, like how to really secure your private seed. There's just so many different things, and yeah, you guys can definitely expect a lot of videos from me like regarding that stuff moving forward. So I will get to work on that ASAP.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously, these videos are very high quality. So I mean, but because of that, they do take time. So I know that you're working hard around the clock, and you can only do so much because you're one person. So I know you've got like Flocks and Order Book Plus videos that you're focusing on lately. But yeah, it sounds like these kind of introductory educational like learner videos maybe can come maybe after like Flocks gets released or something like kind of in between.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet deal. Looks like Dylan G is asking, what do you guys think of meme season on Neo? Meme coin season? That's an interesting conversation. I know that I guess I'll just give my opinion. I always like to see new tokens and new projects come to Neo. In my opinion, I like to see those tokens and projects have like a team, or like, and maybe this is just because I'm not a boomer, but sometimes I feel like a boomer because I've been in crypto since like 2015. But I come from a place in my mind, at least, and again, this is just me, but like I focus on a team and who's on the team and what kind of background that team has. I focus on like the project and if they have a product, and the use cases, and the usability and the user experience and all of that stuff is what I personally tend to focus on. But I know that meme coins aren't necessarily about any of that, right? So for me, it's kind of difficult to invest in meme coins because they don't have, I mean, some of them do have a lot of that, right? Some of them do have use cases. I know that Doge and Shiba, or at least Shiba, has like, a whole plethora of features and devs and use cases and all of that. So in that sense, I like meme coins, but in the sense that it's just, to me, again, I like to see new tokens on Neo. I'm not bashing at all. But in my opinion, like I like to see a team behind it. I like to see a product or roadmap or something other than just, I went and created a token, give me money. Like that, to me, personally, like rubs me the wrong way. But I know that's just my opinion, and I know that that's what meme coins are literally usually about. Like I made a funny token, like let's see the token go burr. Like let's airdrop these things and let's fundraise and let's make everyone a lot of money, that kind of thing. I know a lot of meme coins are about that, but I think that's probably why I personally don't invest much in meme coins. You see a lot of meme coins on other projects doing things like rug pulling and bad actors and stuff like that, and that's the kind of stuff that kind of keeps me far away from meme coins. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else on the team wants to speak about meme coins at all, or if they have a different opinion or the same opinion or anything like that. I'm not bashing any meme coins on Neo at all.
Yeah, I think, yeah, to be honest, I'd have to kind of share what Bordeaux is saying about all that stuff. But one positive thing I will say, though, that I like seeing is the amount of people that are kind of like the hype around it, because I feel like that's something that Neo kind of like is missing sometimes. It's like there's not a lot of hype, like kind of like how you see on Ethereum or other chains where people are just like full on like degen mode, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a casino or something or whatever. But I think it's an interesting dynamic. Again, like Bordeaux said, I'm not bashing on it either. I think it's definitely an exciting thing to see, and it seems like it seems like people are really going for it, and yeah, it brings activity to the chain, and you know, hopefully that brings even more users outside of the Neo ecosystem. So I think it's interesting to see. I will say that.
Definitely. Let's see, I'm in the chat. The amount of people asking how to vote with their Neo is staggering. There's a lot of room for 101 educational videos. Yeah, definitely. And we have a lot of that. I've written documentation for a lot of that stuff, user guides on what a wallet is on Neo. So to answer your question, Blitzkrieg, you should have from the start where to get a fiat FLM, how to get a wallet, all this stuff. I have, like, if you go on Flamingo and you click on the hamburger menu, which is those 3 bars on the top menu, and scroll down to Flamingo Learn, that's where all of our documentation is. And I actually personally wrote all of that documentation. And there's a lot of basically educational 101 user guides that I wrote with screenshots and everything step by step in Flamingo Learn. So yeah, we can take, we started doing this, like Somnium Wave said, like he's already made a lot of tutorial videos based on that documentation. But yeah, there's always more. There's always going to be more that we can do. So it definitely keeps us busy, which is nice. I like that kind of form of job security. You could kind of look at it that way. Like there's always going to be more to do. So there's never, like Mr. Google said when we first started, none of us are ever sitting around kicking back and drinking coffee. We're always pedal to the metal kind of thing, pushing hard. It's the next best thing that we can do, as well as educating our users even from the very beginning, like first step, how to get FLM, where to get FLM, how to get a wallet, what is, all of that stuff. So definitely look forward to writing more user guides and seeing more kind of educational content in video form as well. Looks like, yeah, some people are commenting on how I am a crypto boomer. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what you would call it. Napoleondes, I think I said that right. Hi guys, first of all, thanks for the hard work all these years. I represent a private group from Netherlands. We're using Flamingo. What we would love to see while NeoX is coming to reality is Flamingo collaborating with aggregators, for example, to attract easy and more volume in the coming years. It would be amazing to have all your liquidity pools attached to an aggregator. I'm not going to name drop. Where people, which is what I think you're doing, I don't know, where people from all chains could use Flamingo with one API interface. People could buy/sell with other tokens, for example, on Flamingo Finance like that, without the learning curve of a new blockchain. Awesome comment. Definitely thanks for joining the chat. Dropping that comment here. We already do some of that. O3 swap integrates a lot of different tokens from a lot of different blockchains, and they do aggregate from Flamingo already. So any token that's traded on O3 swap that's on the Neo blockchain is being aggregated. That is directly coming from Flamingo. So I totally agree with you. I would also love to see more of that, and yeah, it would be cool to have many more aggregators involved with the Neo blockchain. And I think with the EVM and NeoX coming out, I think we will definitely see a lot more of that as well. Different interactions with different blockchains. But yeah, we do already do that, and I assume that you'll be able to see a lot more of that in the future. Thanks for the comment. Anyone else in the audience want to raise your hand or drop any questions or comments in the chat? Looks like we got maybe about 10 more minutes here hanging out in the lagoon. What else can we talk about? Usually it's the devs that are in here and we're talking up a storm about all the developments going on in the background. But they They're currently off working as hard as they can, trying to get these gas costs as low as humanly possible for the new Order Book Plus.
Did you mention the Twitter polls about Flux, upcoming Flux, the FLM burning thing?
Nice. Yeah, so I've been adding some polls on Twitter. One of them was, let's see, one of them was about what feature of Flux users liked most. I'm just pulling it up now on Twitter. Let's see. So yeah, the most recent post was about what about the new Flamingo Flux dividend-bearing asset are you most excited about? 194 people voted. The options were diversified dividends, auto compounding, FLM burning mechanics, or something else. And yeah, the winner was FLM burning mechanics with 60% of votes going there. That surprised me, honestly. Like typically when I think about a Flux, you know, a dividend bearing asset, I think what mostly people get excited about is earning money, and people get excited about earning those dividends. So I thought maybe diversified dividends would be the front runner there, but FLM burning mechanics was, and I guess that's, you know, all the different FLM holders out there are just super excited to see the FLM. I assume are excited to see the FLM inflation rate dropping as more people buy Flux, because even though there's an inflation rate on FLM, the more people who mint Flux with FLM, all those FLM get burned. So you could see that even though 200,000 a day right now, and a lot less soon, and I can't give you a specific number yet because it hasn't been announced, but a lot less soon, FLM are minted every day. The more Flux that are minted every day with FLM burn those FLM that are minted. So in the future, like you could even say that FLM, and this is just speculation, but may turn from an inflationary asset to a deflationary asset. It depends on how successful Flamingo is, how many people buy how many dollars worth of Flux. But yeah, there's definitely a future where FLM could become not only deflationary, but I think as Mr. Gould said once, like it could literally burn all the way to zero. Like there could be a future where there's no FLM because it was all burned because of the amount of Flux that were bought, right?
Yeah, you know, the Bitcoin minting will be stopped at 2,150. So we won't be able to see it. That's impossible, as I believe. But FLM minting will stop at 2040. Inflation will go to zero. There will be no new FLMs will be minted. So as long as people continue to mint Flux tokens, you will know that for the eternity, those FLMs will get burned. So there will be less and less and less FLM tokens will be in total circulation. So that's a really nice feature.
Yeah, which as we know, like obviously it's not guaranteed, but typically lower amount of tokens in circulation long term can mean price going up because there's fewer of them being sold, right? So if there's an equal amount of buyers, but there's fewer of them going around being sold, then it could potentially mean the price goes up. Again, speculation, but
yeah, it's a really long-term product, as Mr. Will mentioned. If you want short, easy profits, short-term profits, well, you can still have short-term profits from Flux if you manage your strategy right. But that totally depends on luck. But if you're a long-term investor, everybody is believing in this update. It's an active FLM burning mechanism that will benefit in a really good way in long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I guess that's one of the whole purposes behind Flocks is to make it more of a long-term asset that supports the platform, and the platform supports it. With Flund, that was really the goal of Flund, but we found that users were, selling the spikes and buying the dips and all of that, which really just makes it another token that is also earning yield by itself. And while that was, one of the use cases that the team was focused on building with Flund, Flund kind of like missed the point when it came to supporting the platform long term and the platform supporting it long term. Like, we're seeing a lot more short term investors just buying it and then selling it and then buying it and selling it, which really was never really the point of Flund. So that's why we're sunsetting Flund and moving over to Flocks to make it more of a long term hold. And so that, you'll see all these different various features within Flocks that do help it become exactly that. So another poll that I added to Flamingo Twitter on March 12th, the question was, do you plan to migrate any of your Flund to Flocks upon launch? Again, 196 votes. And 50% of those votes, so almost 100 votes, said that yes, they will migrate 100% of their Flund to Flocks, which in my opinion, that's huge. Like, that's a big number. I did not think I was going to see 50% of people say that they're going to migrate 100% of their Flund to Flocks. Like, that's really promising. And again, it's just a poll on Twitter, but these things matter, all these little things add up. And so you can look at this poll, you can look at the poll we just discussed, and it seems like there's a lot of excitement behind Flocks. Seems like there's a lot of users who say they're going to migrate to Flocks. It looks like they're excited about the FLM burning and all of that. So Flocks is almost here. We're like right at the precipice. It's right around the corner. We're putting in the final touches on the front end. You heard it here first. Like, the back end, the contracts are just about done, other than it sounds like this gas fee optimization that the devs are currently working on. Otherwise, the smart contracts are done. The front end has been completely 100% designed. I wrote all the content for it. That's all good. There's just a few more tooltips I have to write. That's it. Then we're developing that, and then boom, testnet is probably going to come in the coming days, like maybe even next week. Testnet, and then all that goes well, mainnet. So again, you heard it here first, and we don't have a specific launch date, but we're really trying to launch it in April, like someday in April. Whether that's April 1st or April 15th or 30th, that's what we're shooting for. It might, if for whatever reason we get hung up on testnet and we find something that isn't working properly and it takes a few more days for us to fix it, then that might happen. But I really like the team that I work on. The team is freaking awesome, and we always deliver what we promise to deliver. And if I say that we're going to launch this very hopefully in April, then that's kind of what I'm counting on. But yeah.
And it's transparent. Users can easily, freely ask any question to developer, and developers are explaining in detail. So, developers also want to publish this to mainnet as soon as possible, but there are some issues. By issues, I mean they are trying to lower the gas fees of the order book. So lower gas fees means that will be cheaper to trade, and that's for the users. Everything is for the users, and also security is for the users. So they can just immediately publish it on mainnet, and there can be a security breach or something like that. And you are always seeing some security breaches on other chains, other projects. You can search any hacking incident on a DeFi, and you can always find a news. But on Flamingo ecosystem, there were no records of any hacking incident. So that's a big plus.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Okay, so we're in the final minutes here. I'm just going to quickly answer the rest of the questions in the chat. Dylan G asks, are there plans to expand to other ecosystems other than Binance Chain and Ethereum? Yes, there aren't any technical exact plans, no, but we do want to expand to other ecosystems, and I know that that's been kind of in the back of our minds for a while. And I think once the devs settle down a little bit from the flocks and order book and some other things regarding those features, I assume that they'll get back into looking towards that kind of thing. Aka asks, maybe I missed it. I was pretty late. What is the next after flocks and order book V2? In the roadmap, we're looking at token auction offering coming next. We'll also have a bunch of different marketing endeavors around Flocks and Order Book, so it won't just be what's the next feature. There will be a lot of other things, like marketing initiatives, contests, things of that nature. But in terms of like what's the next feature, we're most likely looking at token auction offering, or TAO, which is where users can auction off their tokens. And if they hit a certain threshold of dollar amount volume, then we'll list those tokens in a reverse pool on Flamingo. Next question, Aka asks, will Flocks be listed on centralized exchanges, do you think? Hard to say. I mean, I never say never. But right now we're just focused on the launch on Flamingo. Now, Paulandis says, thanks for the response. Last question from the Netherlands. When Flamingo clothing coming back? We need some Flamingo socks and coffee mugs. Flamingo store needs to come back. Yeah, I totally agree. I've always been kind of asking the devs for that as well. I know that I got some Flamingo swag back when it was up, and I paid for it with FLM, which was really cool. And the only reason why we stopped that temporarily was because the quality of the materials wasn't as good as we had hoped, and we had always planned on finding another vendor, and it just kind of fell through the cracks. But excellent comment and feedback, and I'm with you. I really want the clothing to come back and to be able to pay for it with FLM again, so I'll definitely get on that. I'll try to find another vendor myself and approach the devs with it and see if we can make that happen again. This Cree gas, isn't it easy to lower the gas fees by the council? And Dylan says, yeah, but only goes so far. I believe system fees can only be reduced so far. Yes, and then of course at the beginning we had our devs saying that you lower them too much and it becomes a security issue, because then hackers and those who are trying to exploit the chain can do so very, very cheaply. And the more cheap you make that, the more easy it is for them to do it, or the more inviting it is for them to do it. So it's kind of a catch-22, if you will, right? Like everyone wants lower fees, but if you have no fees, then it's more susceptible to people who want to come exploit it. So you've got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, as you know, sorry for dividing. As you know, on Polygon chain or BNB chain, etc., the chains that have really low fees, your address is getting spammed with various scam coins, malicious scam coins that can drain your wallet, and scam NFTs. Your address, if you just think of this, you are not writing your address anywhere, but you are just holding like 5K or 10K USDT, and anyone can check the blockchain who is holding what. And they see your address and they spam unlimited scam things to your address. And you don't want to see this in NeoChain, sadly. So as Bordo is mentioned, it creates a security problem when the gas fee goes too low.
Yeah. Yep. And if you want to hear more about that, then definitely just wait for the YouTube video and Spotify podcast to come out early next month. Earlier in this AMA, the devs spoke in detail about the different fees and gas fees and how low can they go, kind of thing, without risk. So you can listen back to this AMA and hear all about it. That was one of the very first things we talked about in the AMA. So if you missed it, feel free to play it later at your own convenience and listen to them chat all about that. But for now, looks like all the questions in the chat have been answered in one way or another. Thanks for joining us on stage and in the chat. This has been an awesome Lagoon. I know that the devs were only here for a few minutes this time because they're super busy with the Order Book Plus. But yeah, thanks again for everyone who joined. And yeah, thanks to the team for joining. And we'll see you next time in April.
See you all.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon.
Thank you.
See you all. Bye bye.